So these are your quizzes for next week, right here. I might move this one. I put 2 up. Does that upset you? Why does it not upset you? Just a little. Why does it not upset you? Because they're optional. If you don't want to do both, don't do both. This one here is a central limit theorem review quiz. That was the last topic we did in 243, and it's been 14, 15 weeks. If you need some review on that, I can go ahead. I got the check this out link to the PowerPoint that I used in class. If somebody sends me an email to remind me, I'll also go find the old video from class and post that. Somebody email me to remind me to do that. This quiz is actually about what we're going to be talking about today and probably into Tuesday. So I might shove this one back to this day. Because what we'll do is we'll finish it on Tuesday. We'll have homework questions answered on Thursday, and then it makes more sense to do the quiz on the following Tuesday. Does that make sense? So I think we'll do that. We'll move that one back. But right now, let's leave it there. We'll see how the day goes. Fair enough? So 2 quizzes, 1, both, or neither. Your choice. Okay. Back to what we were talking about. And Chris gave us a great example.
Is there like an army of people like you that forget the Gallup?
That would be terrifying, actually. It would be top-notch. I wouldn't wish that on the world. Yes, they're called actuaries, basically, actuaries and statisticians. There's tons of people crunching numbers everywhere. Yeah, look up for numbers every single day. And a lot of it isn't so much the number crunching isn't as important as how we're getting the numbers, making sure we get good numbers. Gallup screwed up years ago in the Dewey-Truman election. You read about it in your first project. They big time on biased data collection. And ever since then, and probably even before that, they didn't realize that was good. They've been refining their methods. So
Gallup was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, the Quinnipiac is the best. I think Quinnipiac. Nobody hears about that little tiny college in Pennsylvania. They seem to have the best data. Gallup is damn good. Rasmussen's pretty good. There's a few that are out there. I try to mix them all up and use them all. So, all right. Now I want to talk about what Chris was just talking about with that Obama poll. Okay, so you may have noticed what Will said is true. If you need more proof, the enrichment page has plenty of it for you. But on average, the statistics target the parameters. That's why we talked about little p versus p hat and mu versus x bar. Because on average, they line up perfectly. But the problem is that individually they don't. And here is the overriding problem. Each one of these blue squares represents a sample, one sample. So for example, you don't get this. You get one of these. When you do an experiment, so for your experiment you just did with the cards, your 5 black cards was one of these. Some other class does the experiment, gets 5 black cards or 4 red and a black or 2 and 3, whatever. They get a blue diamond. Next class gets a blue diamond. Next class gets a blue. If I do every single class, every single experiment, I get all these blue diamonds and I average them and get this. But the problem with that is you don't get all of that with your study. You get one. You get that one, maybe, or that one, or maybe that one, or that one, depending on how lucky or unlucky your draws are. So, since we don't get the average, we simply get one data point, that means we have error built into our computations. And we have to deal with that via a margin of error. That's the whole point of a margin of error, is that you don't hit the parameter exactly. You get damn close sometimes. You get damn close sometimes. But you're also likely to be over here or likely to be over there. So what you want to do is you want to control for that individual sampling error by attaching wings to whatever your sample value is. If this is the one you got from that crew, you want to slap a set of wings on that so that hopefully, and I say hopefully because we can't be 100% certain, the best we can usually do is 95%. We'll talk more about that today into next time. But do you see how when we put this and we do plus or minus this, we've caught him? That's the goal. We want to catch the parameter. That's why you can't report the percentage from your poll as truth. You have to report the percentage plus or minus the wings. Because chances are the center of your poll is not the center of your population. But chances are it's within a margin of error of your center of your poll. Does that make sense? That really is the overriding point of this class. is you're going to get that, and you have to attach those. And 95% of the time, you're going to catch what you're looking for, but you're not going to know what it is exactly. That's the lion's share of the class. Now, another part of the class is making those wings as narrow as possible to make it more effective. Because I can be 100% certain. I am between 0 and 100% certain that nobody likes commerce. Right? Or, said a different way, I can tell you with certainty that between 0% of Americans and 100% of Americans drink too much Red Bull. I mean, this guy can make this statement, and my margin of error is so wide that it's meaningless. So you want to get it narrower to make it more meaningful, but at the same time, that costs money, and that's one of the things we'll talk about in time and resources and everything else. So the whole point is that when the news media reports on things, you'll see these. Boom, 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 boom. Not a margin of error in sight. Not a margin of error in sight. And that's wrong. And that's wrong. Because you can't prove to me that 56 billion is less than 120 billion. Or that 40 billion is less than 56 billion, unless you can tell me what the plus or minus is on those values. That's the problem. If you can't prove to me that there's a difference, just like that Obama poll, just like that Obama poll, same exact problem. You can't prove to me that 45 is below 48, unless you show me a margin of error. If the margin of error is 1%, then I believe it, don't I? Because 45 and 48 are 3 apart. If the margin of error is 1%, that means they're not touching. But if the margin of error is 2%, that means you can't prove anything to me. And it's usually around 3%. 3 to 4% is fairly standard in those polls. More on that today and into Tuesday as well. Any questions you guys have right now? Residual questions or new questions you've thought about while we've been chit-chatting? But so far, hot damn. Let's shut this down for a little bit. Because what do you guys think? Ryan, do you mind hitting the lights? Great Metallica. Great Metallica song. All right, we're going to start. We're going to start right now. So, there are the 2 big parameters that I want to estimate. Let's do it. Start and restart.